Well, hello, my friends, and welcome once again to the Romano Report Podcast. Today is Friday, December 5th, and I've got several things I would like to discuss. So, why don't we just begin with a truly detestable human being? And no, I'm not talking about the orange buffoon himself. And really, to say a truly detestable human being, we could be referring to so many people. I mean, aren't all of these MAGAs at this point? How can you support any of this at this point in time and not be a truly horrible human being? And we just came out of Thanksgiving. And of course, we have other holidays in front of us. And this is the time where you get together with people who may be MAGA. You might have MAGA family members. And how to deal with those people is always a difficult question to grapple with. And with some of these MAGA family members, you don't want to say that they're truly horrible human beings. But aren't they? I mean, seriously, I don't know. I guess you could just be so fucking stupid that you really don't have any clue who this person is. But it's almost, I mean, how is that even possible? Even if you're someone who doesn't pay much attention, how do you not know enough? There's so much that this piece of shit has said, that he's done, that he's literally been convicted of, that he's been found liable for. I mean, he committed a fucking insurrection on live TV. I mean, he just said that Somalis in Minnesota are trash or garbage or whatever he said. And I saw a video of a Somali man in Minnesota who voted for Donald Trump. And he was talking with local news, and he was upset. He said, "My children are not garbage." I mean, this Donald Trump, God, he's such a horrible person. And I don't know how you can come to any conclusion other than that the people who support him at this point, I mean, you could, in 2016, it was a different story. I mean, he was still a horrible person. But so much that we now know and that he has done and said since 2016, he hadn't yet lied about a stolen election and tried to steal it and incited a violent insurrection against his own country. He hadn't been convicted on 34 felony counts. He hadn't been found liable for massive business fraud. He hadn't been found liable for sexually abusing a woman. He hadn't been indicted for stealing classified documents. I mean, and on and on and on. So, I mean, it's different, 2016 versus now. How can anyone support him now and not be a horrible person themselves? I don't know. To me, I don't know. That's anyway. Boy, that was I needed to get to this clip here of this horrible person, and I've been keeping you in the dark as to who I'm referring to. Megyn Kelly, that's who I'm talking about. I'm sure many of you have seen these comments because it's this particular clip from her podcast, the Megyn Kelly Show. Good God, imagine watching that fucking thing. Anyway, this clip has made the rounds, so why don't I just play it? It's short. Tell me that this is not a horrendous human being. Before I play it, she's talking about these war crimes that Trump and Hegseth are committing, blowing up people, no authorization from Congress. We're not in a war. This is not in self-defense. Donald Trump has just labeled these people narco-terrorists, this made-up term that has no legal significance whatsoever. Just calls them narco-terrorists. That seems to be the one they have settled on, narco-terrorists. Calls them narco-terrorists and pretends that gives them legal justification for just blowing them up. That's what they're talking about here. So that's the setup. Here is Megyn Kelly.
So I really do kind of not only want to see them killed in the water, whether they're on the boat or in the water. But I'd really like to see them suffer. I would like Trump and Hegseth to make it last a long time so that they lose a limb and bleed out a little. Like, I'm really having a difficult time ginning.
All right, that is some sick fucking shit. She wants to see them suffer. She wants to see it take a long time. She wants their limbs cut off so that they bleed out. That is a sick and twisted person. That's evil. I don't know how you say that that's anything other than evil. Now, when you're dealing with these MAGA podcasters, there's always the question of, does she really mean this? Like, does she believe this sick, twisted shit? Or is this just performative? And it's always a legitimate question, and you don't really know, because she knows who her audience is. And this is how, I mean, I'm sure she's got a big podcast. I don't know where she is in the rankings. She's on Sirius XM. Big podcast. She probably wants to be the #1 podcast in the world. This is how you get there. You say shit like this. This is what attracts the MAGA audience. And, you know, these people have become addicted to this stuff. And with any addiction, you have to keep feeding it more and more and more. You know, the regular dosage isn't going to work. So the regular amount of crazy, it wears off. You need to up the crazy. You need to up the evil. And that's, you know, is that what she's doing here? She's just feeding the beast. She's feeding the addiction of her MAGA cult audience who, you know, she's just got to feed them sicker and sicker shit. Is that what's going on? I don't know. She might truly believe this, but it also might be performative. I guess in the end, it doesn't really matter too much because she said it. She has this huge platform and she said that sick, twisted shit. Whether she really believes this or she's just playing for the cult for ratings and money, I don't know. But I don't give a shit, really. She's a sick... I mean, even if she doesn't believe this, the fact that she would say it for money... She would say it to get attention. She would say it to feed these sickos in her audience. I mean, I think that's pretty much proof right there what a horrible human being she is. Is that not evil? Pushing this sort of torture porn on her audience? This is sick shit. And just dealing with the substance of this for a minute. She wants to see them tortured. She wants to see their limbs hacked off so that they bleed out. Why? What would justify that level of vile hatred that you would want to inflict a torturous death on a fellow human being? What did they do to you? She doesn't know any of these people personally. These people didn't kidnap and torture to death a relative of hers. She doesn't know who the hell these people are. They're human beings, whatever else they may be. And I think that we don't know who and what they are. All we have is Donald Trump saying that they're drug smugglers. And I guess any drug smuggler that he wants to kill is then also a narco-terrorist. They are, at worst, drug smugglers. But we don't even know if that's true. We have family members of some of these people saying they were not in the drug trade. They were fishermen. There is reason to believe that some of them might have been refugees fleeing oppression in their home countries and then get blown up by the fucking United States of America. Maybe some of them are drug dealers. We don't know. Or drug smugglers. We don't know. Trump has never offered any proof of this. But even if they are drug smugglers, even if every damn one of them is a drug smuggler, and I'm not going to use a fucking narco-terrorist, because it's designed to conjure up images in your head of something that doesn't exist. They're drug smugglers. That's what they are. They're taking drugs from point A to point B so that their drugs could be taken to point C and sold and distributed. That's all this is. If what Trump is saying is even true, they're drug smugglers. They're moving drugs from one location to the other. Okay. There's no legal justification whatsoever to blow those people up. There's no authorization from Congress, and this is not defending the country. Okay? These are illegal strikes. But what is it about a human being moving drugs from one location to another. That's all they are. What is it about that causes Megyn Kelly to want to lop off their friggin' limbs and let them bleed out and have a slow, painful death? That is sick shit. At worst, these people are criminals, right? If they're smuggling drugs, at the worst is they're criminals. And guess what? That is not a death penalty crime. Even if they're convicted for what Donald Trump has accused them of being, you can't put them to death for it, and you certainly can't torture them. This woman's a fucking lawyer. Okay? This is torture that she's describing. That's what she wants done to them? Even if this were a death penalty crime, which it's not, but even if it were, and they were convicted, you still can't lop off their fucking arms and legs and let them bleed out. That violates the 8th Amendment, cruel and unusual punishment. And this woman brags about the fact that she's a fucking lawyer. This is sick. Sick shit. And to go to the point that these are not terrorists, other than these two that got blown up on September 2nd, and then we did that double tap, bombing, or blowing them out of the water with a couple of survivors clinging to the wreckage. And now there's a report out that they were floating in the ocean, clinging to that wreckage for hours before we went in there with a second strike and blew them up. Oh yeah, real threat to the United States. How far away were they? 1,500 miles? Floating on a piece of fucking wood in the middle of the ocean? Those people were a threat to the country. We had to blow them out of the water. Anyway, to prove the point that they're not terrorists, we have had other survivors since then. And we didn't blow them up. We didn't arrest them either and take them into custody. We repatriated them back to their home countries. That's it. We scooped them out of the water. And they said, well, we didn't get you with the initial strike, so I guess you're free to go home. Is that what we do with terrorists? Terrorists. Because that's what they're saying. Narco-terrorists. That's what we do with terrorists. We just let them go so they can continue plotting to terrorize people and attack America. That's what we do with terrorists? No, these are obviously not terrorists. They're drug smugglers at worst, if they're even that. But that's all they are. And Megyn Kelly says we should cut their arms and legs off and let them bleed to death. Now, if these people, if smuggling drugs, and by the way, before I get to that, I don't know. I don't listen to Megyn Kelly much. I can't stand her. And by the way, this woman has made millions and millions of dollars. Remember, she worked for NBC, and didn't she get fired from NBC, and then they had to pay her out like tens of millions of dollars for this ridiculous contract they gave her. She's a millionaire 10, 20 times over or something. I don't know. She's tons of money from, among other places, NBC. Good job, NBC. This is the kind of person you gave millions of dollars to. Where the hell was I going with this? While I'm trying to think of that, remember, it's almost Christmas. Time for gifts. And I can think of no better gift than a Fuck Trump Little Blue Bear mug. Okay, that shameless plug was long enough for me to remember what the hell I was talking about. And this is what it was. So I don't know about Megyn Kelly, because I don't listen to her that much. So I don't know where she comes down on the whole Christianity stuff. But my guess is she's a Christian, or she lies about being a Christian, because she has a MAGA audience, and being Christian nationalists is their thing, right? They all pretend to be Christian. They're not Christian. I mean, you could call yourself whatever you want, but isn't part of being Christian doing your best to follow the teachings of Jesus Christ? I mean, isn't that the whole point of the thing? What the hell is Christian about these MAGAs? Not a damn thing, near as I can tell. So they can call themselves Christian all they want. They're frauds. They're fraudulent, phony Christians. Anyway, I'm sure that's what most of her audience is. But I don't know about her. But let's just assume she is, because that's what her audience is. And I'm sure her audience is eating this shit up. They cheer this stuff. Yeah, cut their arms and legs off. Let them bleed out. Fuck them. They're narco-terrorists. Is this how Christians... This is how Christians behave? This is how Christians think? Not real Christians, but these fucking MAGA Christians do. These phony MAGA Christians. They want to torture people. Why? And what's the real reason they want to torture people? Because Donald Trump has decided that they're worthy of being killed. And these people are all fucking sickos. So they're going to support everything that... And it's, you know what? It's also to own the libs, right? And the libs, of course, being anyone who's not part of the Trump cult. So you can be a hardcore, traditional conservative, like conservative on the issues. But if you don't go along with the Trump cult, if you're not into the Trump cult of personality bullshit, because the Trump cult, Trump is not a conservative. So if you're an actual conservative, you're not part of the Trump cult anyway. So you could be a conservative and still be labeled a lib by these people. And one of the things they live for is owning the libs, right? Triggering the libs. And they know that the libs, pretty much everyone outside the cult, sees this for what it is: illegal killings, murders, and we're opposed to it. And they want to shove it in your face and be as nasty about it as possible. So, that's one of the reasons I think motivating all this fucking cruelty on their parts. But is that, Christian? Just, you want to see, these are human beings. You want to see fellow human beings tortured and their death prolonged so there could be an agonizing, prolonged death where they slowly bleed out? That's what Christians want for their fellow human beings. Is that how, again, that's what MAGA Christians want. How freaking sick. It's just beyond belief how sick this is. And for what? Because at worst, they smuggle drugs. And if drug smuggling, if moving drugs from one location to another is enough to make you a terrorist, if that makes you a terrorist, and just labeling you a terrorist gives the President of the United States all the legal authority he needs to have you killed. Well, guess what? Right here in America, we have a lot of people moving drugs from point A to point B. And a lot of them are Americans. We have a lot of people, a lot of American citizens who sell drugs, move drugs, take drugs. If all it takes is moving drugs or selling drugs to make you a terrorist, and that gives the president all authority he needs to kill you, then can he just kill anyone here in America, including American citizens, who he labels narco-terrorists? Because the only thing required to make you a narco-terrorist is that you're moving drugs. Yeah, I saw Tom Cotton, piece of shit that he is, MAGA senator from Arkansas. I think he was on CNN, and I saw him shitposting on Twitter too, saying there's nothing wrong with these strikes, there's nothing wrong with killing these people, they're narco-terrorists. There's people right there in Arkansas moving drugs, selling drugs. All right, can Trump order the military into Little Rock and just kill on sight anyone he says is a narco-terrorist? I guess so. Why would it be any different? If they're a terrorist, what does it matter if they're in a little boat over here or if they're in Little Rock? They're terrorists, right? This is sick shit. All right, this Megyn Kelly, what a horrible human being. Okay, let's move on to a few other things. Boy, I can't. We better damn well get control of Congress, or at least the House of Representatives a year from now. I think we will, if things keep going in this direction. And by the way, when I say we, look, right now, I don't care. I'm not even a Democrat. I don't care what your party affiliation is, or your philosophical or political leanings. I don't care about any of that. Right now, it is MAGA fascism versus everyone else. It's authoritarianism and tyranny versus everyone else. So when I say we've got a two-party system. Right? Really, it sucks. It is what it is, though. We have a two-party system. One party is a fascist personality cult. That leaves one other party. So if the Democratic Party is the only political vehicle through which we can fight back against this MAGA Republican fucking fascism, right? That's it. So we need to elect Democrats. Whatever you may think of Democrats, we need to elect Democrats. And let us hope that we, meaning all of us on the, not on the fascist MAGA Trump side of things, let us hope that we win a year from now and take back at least one house of Congress. Although if things keep going this way, I think we have a good shot at taking the Senate too, but we'll see. Not going to be counting any chickens before they hatch. Now, if we do, there needs to be investigations starting day one. Really, what else are you going to do? If you're the Democrats and you win back control of Congress, what are you going to do other than investigations? I mean, what's more important to save this country right now than to uncover and expose what this criminal operation in the White House is doing? And what are you going to do? Pass legislation? Why? It's wasted time. Trump is just going to veto. I mean, there's certain things you got to do, like budgets and that kind of stuff to keep the government going. But other than that, why waste your time? He's going to veto anything you'd produce anyway. So put all your energy into investigations with an eye towards impeaching and removing his fucking criminal ass from office. Now, one of the many things, and really you're going to have to triage this shit because you can't investigate every crime that he has committed, every act of corruption in which he is engaged. There's not enough members of Congress. There's not enough committees. There's not enough committee rooms for all those hearings. So you're going to have to prioritize the crimes and the corruption. One of the things we need to do is really look into these illegal killings in the Caribbean. And one of the people that needs to be subpoenaed to testify is Admiral Halsey. This is the guy who was in charge of Southcom, which is the area of operations in which all these killings are taking place. He was the admiral in charge of all this shit. Well, he knew that this was illegal, and he didn't want to have anything to do with it. He knew there's no legal justification for blowing up these boats and murdering these people. And he knows that he is required to disobey, to refuse is a better way to say it, refuse illegal orders. And being ordered to blow up these boats are illegal orders. And he had a problem with it. According to reports, he voiced his concern, and Pete Hegseth told him to resign, which he did. The reporting is that he was on a conference video fucking call with the admiral, and he said, you either get on the team or you get the hell out. When you get an order, you do it immediately and you don't ask questions. Something along those lines. And so he was forced out. He resigned. We need to hear from this guy. Why did you think, Admiral, why did you think that these orders were illegal? We need to, so that's one of the things. But there's far too many people willing to go along with this. And this admiral who gave these orders to blow up these two in this double tap operation, killing the survivors, he testified yesterday. Apparently, he's testified that Pete Hegseth never gave an order to kill them all. Anyway, this guy is a war criminal. If all of this is true, and all indications are that it is true, that these people were murdered. Like I said, I read reporting today that they were floating for hours and then we come along and blow them up. That's a war crime. It's murder under our statutes. This man should be prosecuted along with Pete Hegseth. Trump should be prosecuted too, but thanks to the Supreme Court, that's not going to happen. But none of the others have immunity here. Okay, let's move on from this. How's the economy doing? Humming along, is it? Yeah, not so much. Here's an article somewhere. I know I have it. I just saw it. Oh, there it is. That's not even the right one. Okay, it doesn't matter. I remember the gist. It's in my notes here. Layoffs. Job losses. Right now, highest levels since the pandemic. Yep. Right now, under Donald Trump, almost a year into his presidency, layoffs, people losing their jobs at the highest rate since the pandemic. Is that what all you people who voted for Trump, and I know there's probably none of those people in this audience, but those people who voted for Donald Trump because they were led to believe that he's a genius businessman and that he's so good for the economy. What do you think now? Worst job losses since the pandemic. And, you know, that blame Biden shit, I have an article here. I printed out too much stuff. I really did. Let me see here. Here we go. MAGA Republicans, according to a poll that was conducted for Politico, 37% of Republicans say that the cost of living is the worst that has ever been in their life. 37% of Republicans are saying that right now. They know Trump is in office, and yet they're saying that. And how many who are polled know that things are shit, but they weren't willing to say that to a pollster? So the real number is probably higher than 37%. Because that's the thing with these fucking MAGAs. Some of them will just never admit. It doesn't matter how bad it gets. I mean, we could have Great Depression levels of unemployment. We could have stagflation that make the 70s malaise, look like boom times. And they still won't admit that things are bad. As long as Trump is in office. They'll say things are great. Oh, things are great. Because they will never. They just won't. So you know the number. If 37% of Republicans are saying that the cost of living is the worst it's ever been in their entire lives, you know the number's higher than that. And what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Goes on to say that this blame Biden forever strategy is not working. It's starting to wear off. I mean, you can't do that forever, can you? I know some of the hardcore MAGAs, you can. They'll go along with any stupid argument. But for regular people, even like non-totally committed cultists who are Republicans, if anyone's going to be honest, you can't forever blame Joe Biden. The guy is almost 25% of the way through his term. How long does he expect it's Biden's fault to work? How long do they think that's going to work? Well, polling data is already showing that, it's not working so much anymore. People aren't buying that. And I just saw, do I have it? Maybe I have it. Oh, yeah, I do have it. Look at that. This guy is, I think, one of the, like a textbook example of a massive douchebag. And you don't hear much from him, but I saw a clip scrolling through Twitter, and I came across a clip of him on Fox News with Jesse Waters. Any guesses? Tall guy, motivational speaker kind of guru kind of fucking douchebag, Tony Robbins. Here's what Tony was on with Jesse Waters saying.
Tell us the secret to success in the United States of America.
I think the American dream is well alive, but you'd have a hard time seeing that in the media, right? Think about where we were a year and a half ago in terms of inflation. Inflation is down. Our gross domestic product is up around 3% and growing. Gas prices around $3. Treasury Secretary just the other day mentioned that now retail prices, or rental prices, I should say, are down low. But, you know, the 43-day government shutdown sure as heck didn't help. And for 42 million Americans who...
All right, shut up, douchebag. Okay, so... Tony Robbins, yeah, I don't understand. Does he still do these seminars and sell his books and shit? I don't understand really anyone. If you're in entertainment, you're selling something to the public. I don't know why you insert yourself into politics. I don't know. Honestly, from either side. I don't know how. I mean, I would presume that he has sold books and fucking tickets to his seminars to Democrats, right? Does he not want to do that anymore? Screw them. I don't want them buying my shit. I don't know, maybe. But going on to Fox and pushing Trump propaganda. Oh, inflation is lower. No, jackass. Inflation is going back up. You know why? Tariffs. I didn't hear you mention the tariffs. So he's on there doing the typical Fox News propaganda bullshit. What a douche. Okay, I don't know why I even brought up Tony Robbins. I just happened to see him before I started recording here. Okay, what else shall I cover? For no particular reason, let me say this. Oh yeah, here's the reason I had this written down. Did you see that we have a what's it called? An Institute for Peace or something? And we have a building. I didn't even know this, to be honest with you. We have a building like an Institute of Peace building, American Institute of Peace or something. And Trump slapped his friggin' name on it. So now it's the Trump Institute for Peace or some shit. And it reminded me of the ballroom. Did you hear, by the way, that he fired the architect that had been hired for the ballroom because the architect said, this is too big. I don't know. I don't know if it was too expensive or too difficult or what it was to construct it of the ridiculous size that he wanted. But right then and there it said, that's it, you're fired. Don't tell me my ballroom is too big. I am constructing monuments to myself right now. And there's no such thing as too big. So get the hell out. So you have that. Anyway, so you got him slapping his name on the Department of Peace. He was talking the other day about renaming again the Kennedy Center to the Trump Kennedy Center. And you got the ballroom. He's going to do this big archway into Washington from Virginia, the Arc du Trump, or whatever. Lord only knows what else he's going to do. He's probably going to have the president sandblasted off the side of Mount Rushmore and just put his big ugly face on there. Who knows what he's got planned. But whatever it is, when a Democrat is next in office, God willing, on January, 20th, right? Whatever. In January of 2029, Trump's name needs to be taken off of everything, and every monument to himself that this piece of shit had constructed, including that ballroom, needs to be completely demolished. And yes, I know that the ballroom, if it's constructed by then, and I'm sure it will be, I know we're spending a lot of money on it. Of course, he says he's doing it with private donations, and of course the oligarchs who want special favors from the Trump administration have been throwing money at him to construct this ballroom. By the way, there needs to be some sort of comeuppance for those people. People who helped fund the destruction of the White House to put up this monument to Donald Trump, this ridiculous fucking ballroom. There needs to be some consequences to those people. But I don't care how much money or whatever went into the construction of this ballroom, it needs to be completely destroyed. I've heard some people say, well, if we're going to build it, we put all this money into it. We don't like it. We don't support it, but should we demolish it? Why don't we just repurpose it? Take his name off of it. I've heard people say, we should make it into some kind of a museum or something. No, as long as the physical structure exists, it will be forever associated with Donald Trump. And if you rename it to something else, and you put it to some other purpose, what happens? You do that because a Democrat wins in 2028, right? So you take Trump's name off, you convert it to a fucking museum or whatever you're going to do with it. What happens when a Republican becomes president again? They're just going to put his name right back on it and convert it right back to the way it was when Donald Trump was president, and it's going to be the Trump ballroom again. No, the only way to prevent that from happening is to tear the fucker down. Completely, 100%, and as far as I'm concerned, put the East Wing back the way it was. And of course, it never can be the way it was because it's gone and destroyed, but replicate it. Or if there's some other thing to be done that makes more sense now, you can't, it's gone. If there's something else that we can, as a country, agree on, with input from the elected representatives of the people, if there's something better that would serve the needs of the people and the government better, then fine, consider that. But by all means, you better damn well remove that fucking ballroom. At least that's what I think. You're free to disagree. What else here? Oh, here's one. Manufacturing. Remember the tariffs were put in place to, among other things, in addition to raking in so much money, we're going to make so much money from the tariffs that we were going to eliminate the deficit and then pay off the national debt, which right now stands at over 36 trillion. Might have hit 37 by now, I'm not sure. 37 trillion dollars. We're going to pay that off with his tariffs. And what happened to the tariff, what were they calling them? Tariff surplus checks? Weren't we all going to get $2,000 checks? Remember, that was just a couple weeks ago, right? He was telling everybody we were going to get $2,000 surplus checks. I saw all these little MAGA morons all over social media saying Trump is the greatest president ever because we're all going to get $2,000 tariff surplus checks. Yeah, shit in one hand and, wish in the other. You're supposed to do it the other way. Wish in one hand, shit in the other. You get the point. Not happening. That's the point. Okay, so back to my article here. Manufacturing. American manufacturing contracted for the 9th straight month, as uncertainty tied to ever-changing tariffs and a historic government shutdown weighed on business. A closely followed manufacturing index fell to a 4-month low of 40. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, there you go. Manufacturing down. American manufacturing contracts 9 months in a row. And I thought he was going to bring back American manufacturing. That was the whole point, right? Aside from the vast amounts of money we're just going to be raking in. Oh, yeah, the other thing he was going to do with all that tariff money was eliminate the income tax. Aren't those magical tariffs? We pay off everything and get rid of the income tax. And foreign countries were going to pay for it all with the magic tariffs. And MAGAs believe this shit. MAGAs literally believe all of that. These are the dumbest fucking people on the face of the earth. And this is why we are going to have a serious problem when this orange buffoon shuffles off this mortal coil, right? Once he's gone and out of our lives and pushing up daisies, we're still going to have a problem. Because we have tens of millions of people who are stupid enough to believe this shit. Hey, you want to pay off the national debt? You want to really pay off the national debt? Eliminate the deficit? pay off the national debt, give everybody surplus checks, eliminate the income tax. You really want to do that? I have an idea for you. When this orange sack of shit is finally 6 feet under, charge everybody, whoever wants to, $5 to piss on his grave. You'll have the national debt paid off in no time. I mean, think of all the repeat customers you'd get, right? If you have an opportunity to piss on this fucker's grave, you're not going to just do it once, right? I'd make a whole fucking vacation out of it. I'd go over and over and over. I would just be chugging water, by the gallon. I'd pay my $5, piss on his grave, get right back in line, and glug, 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 glug. And I wouldn't be the only one. And you'd have grave pisser tourism. You'd have people from all around the world come to the United States just to piss on his fucking grave. I'm telling you. This is an idea. People never consult me on stuff, They do the same old shit in Washington, same old tired ideas. Come to me. I got a lot of shit. I got a lot of good ideas. That's just one. All right. I hear my dogs. They sound primed to start barking. I'm thinking maybe somebody... What time is it? Yeah, somebody might be showing up here any minute, and the dogs are going to lose their shit. I don't know how long I am into this podcast. You know what? I'll just wrap it up here. Yeah, I think that's a good place. With a little optimism, right? Visions of Trump no longer with us. Lines of people waiting to piss on his grave. That's a pretty optimistic picture. So I'm going to leave you with that. All right? Let that carry you into the weekend, right? And set this... You know what? This would be... If you listen to this before Sunday evening, or you know what? Monday morning. That's a good time to re-listen to this if you already listened to it. On the way to work. Oh, another fucking week of work. What can I do to put me in a good mood? You can listen. You replay this part of the podcast where we envision this guy 6 feet under and people pissing on his grave. All right, there you go. You're welcome. All right, thanks for watching. Have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you again soon.